This is big breaking emergency news. We are now seeing major shutdowns of over 25% of the U.S. military and U.S. Navy's capacity to move shipments around the globe right now. This is being affected. We are seeing sea lift craft being affected, and 25% of the ships are now offline, not operating due to this current emergency that's happening. So this is going to affect everything, and this is a national security threat, right? Having these ships shut down is a direct attack and a direct threat to our country, and this seems intentional. It's hard to write this off as an accident when all these things are coming together, right? And this is related to this major bridge collapse that we saw, the Fransis Scott Key bridge. This is related to it, right? This bridge collapse is now taking off 25% of our sea lift capacity for the U.S. military. So these are the critical craft that move things like heavy artillery to other countries overseas, moves all of our heavy equipment around the globe. That's 25% of our capacity has been taken offline from this event. So this is huge. If this wasn't intentional, this was the most devastating unintentional attack we've seen possibly on the United States besides 2001, right? This is very bad. This is devastating for our country, and this is now affecting the U.S. military and our capability to defend our country and get our critical equipment where it needs to be. And there's a lot of suspicious things going on with this ship that we will get to in a minute as well. Things like the black box totally going offline, right? We are seeing that right during the emergency. The black box recording all the equipment and what's going on the ship blacked out right before, right? Something's going on. This is suspicious. We'll get to more details of that in just a second. But let's get into what's going on with our U.S. military, right? So really quick, guys, hit it up for me. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple times a day, and it helps to get these warnings out. People need to know what's going on with our country. But you can see here, this is what's going on with our U.S. military. It says multiple vessels trapped in Baltimore, including sea lift ships for the U.S. military. So 25% of the Fast Sealift ship fleet is now offline because they cannot get out of the Baltimore harbor and the Baltimore port. They cannot leave it due to this bridge collapse. This is very serious for our national security. All right, it says that as federal and local authorities focus on the emergency response of the collapse, Baltimore's Fransis Scott Key Bridge, the inner harbor remains cut off from the rest of the world. No vessels can get in to deliver Baltimore's core cargoes, containers, cars, gypsum, and sugar, and no vessels can get out. It says the later fact will be of peculiar interest for ship owners who have vessels inside the harbor. And it says 4 laid-up ships belonging to the Maritime Administration's Ready Reserve, the Cape Washington, the Gary Gordon, the SS Antares, and the SS Denebola, right? These 4 ships are now trapped in the Baltimore port right now. They cannot leave. And this is critical because these ships are a part of our Fast Sea Fleet that have advanced capabilities. They drive a lot faster and can carry a lot more equipment than any other ships. They've been modified, and they are used for quick deliveries of heavy equipment around the world. This is like the backbone of our military logistic chain, is the ships, and now 25% of the fleet has now been taken offline. All right, you can see here it says the closure's effect on 4 RRF vessels could have potential implications for emergency sealift preparedness. The RRF vessels are kept in reduced operating status at multiple sites around the nation, and the shutdown of any one port would not affect the service's ability to mobilize transportation options for most overseas contingencies. However, 2 of the vessels in Baltimore are high-value assets, the steamship SS Antares and SS Denebola. These are 2 out of 8 fast sealift ships, a class of former sea-land box ships that were converted for military RORO service in the 1980s. They are among the fastest cargo ships in operation today, and their peak speed tops out at 33 knots. All right, so, and it says the 8 FSS vessels have delivered goods for every major U.S. conflict since the first Gulf War. However, these powerful steamships are now 50 years old, and their ability to get underway is uncertain. All right, so they are saying that these ships have been used in every major conflict, and now 2 out of 8 of the ships are now trapped inside the Baltimore harbor. That's 25% of the fleet is now offline, right? So this is critical, and it's very hard to write off this attack as unintentional when there's all these different consequences of this that we're seeing from this one. If this was anywhere else in the world, think about if this happened in Russia or Ukraine or somewhere else. Everyone would be thinking, oh, this was a sabotage. This was an act of war. This is something's going on, all right? But when it happens domestically, we have these events happen all the time. Fires, explosions, critical infrastructure being taken out. And it's very normalized. People are just conditioned to it and just to think it's no big deal. It's never anything. It's always just an accident. It's never anything that could be an attack on the country. That's how a lot of people are conditioned. They just think that America is untouchable. But having that thought creates vulnerabilities, creates openings, right? The border is wide open right now, and we could see these attacks being orchestrated from the inside out of our country. This could have potentially been even a EMP-like device, a localized, high-powered frequency device that's able to take over the ship, able to jam their signals and take over locally, right? There's a lot of possibilities that could have happened, and this port is critical. And now the U.S. military's fast sealift ships are now being taken offline. All right, so these are exactly all the things that would happen before an even bigger attack, right? The thing that people need to think about is that, all right, a big cyber attack, a big blackout, a big attack on critical infrastructure, that's going to be phase 1 of the attack. That's going to be phase 1. They're going to take out communications. They're going to take out the electricity or the water or the supply chain or anything along those lines. They're going to take out the critical resources and infrastructures first before a real attack, before something really happens. That way, there's no way to respond. Now, 25% of the U.S. military's Fast Sealift Fleet is offline. Diminished capacity to respond to any type of emergency in the country or internationally right now. So this is exactly what would happen before an even bigger attack. That's something that a lot of people aren't grasping yet, is that a lot of the things we talk about are going to be preemptive strikes before a kinetic attack, potentially on the U.S., an EMP, nuclear device, anything like this. We're going to see all of these things first happen. All right, so this could be phase 1 of an attack, and we need to be prepared for it. And this is serious that the U.S. military is now being shut down from this as well. And really quick here, I want you to listen to what these officials are talking about with this ship. They're saying that the black box went offline for a few minutes right when this was happening, right? So it kind of makes sense that maybe this was a jamming. Maybe this was something going on, something fishy. Maybe something suspicious is happening, and that's why we saw the black box go offline, right? Or they're trying to hide something. Somebody's trying to hide something, right? But this is what officials are warning of too. Listen to this.
At 0124 and 59 seconds, numerous audible alarms were recorded on the ship's bridge audio. About the same time, VDR sensor data ceased recording. However, the VDR audio continued to record using the redundant power source. At around 0126 and 2 seconds, the VDR resumed recording sensor data, and during this time there were steering commands and rudder orders recorded on the audio. At around 0126 and 39 seconds, the ship's pilot made a general VHF radio call for tugs in the vicinity to assist.
All right, so you heard that there, that the video recording went out, but the audio was still recording. Instead, it recorded sounds of propulsions, sounds of crew members talking, all right, movements of the ship. They were recording audibly, but there were no video recording. Apparently that cut out for a few minutes right when the ship was crashing. All right, so very suspicious, very strange what's going on, and we need answers. This is massive, and this is, whether this was an accident or not, this is the equivalent of a massive attack on our country. This is a massive economic blow, right? This is already causing ships to pile up because they have nowhere to go. They can't go to New York and be processed because the size of their ships are too big for a lot of these other harbors and ports. So very serious for our country, and I want to know what's going on. We need answers, and apparently we're not going to get these answers because now even the black box is being compromised as well, right? And they said right away that the government is going to pay for it. There's going to be no insurance investigation, all right? Apparently insurance isn't going to cover it. And the federal government's just going to pay for the bridge outright right away. And they determined very quickly that there's no funny business, apparently. All right, so something could be going on, and it's very suspicious. So make sure you guys are getting prepared and getting ready, because we could see more supply chain bottlenecks and chokeholds. Right? If this spreads, they were worried about, Biden signed an executive order just for it last month, that there could be cyber attacks on U.S. ports and critical infrastructure, and specifically the cranes. They're worried about the cranes being remotely controlled and taken over and shut off, because this actually happened in Australia, and this happened in Tokyo and Japan last year as well, right? So they're worried about this happening inside the United States, and we could see more bottlenecks, more chokeholds of our supply chain and of our resources at these ports if we see more attacks, right? So that's why you need to be growing your own food. You need to be working on a garden. We've been direct seeding. We just direct seeded a bunch of stuff out there with our seeder, right? We got a sprinkler out there. We got a timer on it. We just got a hose running out to the garden with a sprinkler, right? That's all you need. Just get a big heavy duty sprinkler head that'll shoot far. That's all you need. Just a big heavy duty sprinkler head and a hose and a garden timer. So you don't have to worry about it. It just turns on every day for you. And that's really all you need, unless you're growing something like tomatoes, you might want to have on drip tape, right? But a lot of stuff like lettuce, kale, arugula, that's a lot of stuff we were planting out here. Carrots, stuff that you can direct seed. Most of it can have overhead irrigation. All right, so get this stuff going. That's what we're working on. You never know when these supply chains are going to be cut off. All right, we're also working on our chicks out here. We are getting the final touches on one of our big chicken coops we built. We built a massive chicken coop, and we're going to build a few more. All right, so I'll keep you guys updated on that. I'll show you guys that soon, and maybe make a whole video on it, showing you guys how to make it yourself. Let me know down below if that's something you guys would like to see. All right, let me give you guys a quick update here on our chicks, okay? Because these chicks are going to be out there soon in that coop. And we have a massive coop. It's about 12 feet by 8 feet right now, right? And it's about 6 feet high, so you can walk into it. Very big coop. And we have a good amount of chicks out there, but we're going to build a few more so we can have our chicks separated by breed and know exactly what egg is producing what type of chick, what type of chicks in it, and keep the breeds pure. It's okay, honey. It's okay. Right, so that's what we're working on here. She's giving her little opinion here, all right, of what's going on, because you need to get prepared, guys. You need to get ready, all right? See, she's just hanging out on my shirt. Might get pooped on. It's part of homesteading. Been pooped on a million times. Dealing with poop every day, animal poop, part of life, baby poop, part of raising a family. All right, dealing with that stuff every day. Apparently she just wanted to hang out on my shirt here. So please hit it up for me down there, guys. Hit that like, hit that subscribe to help get this warning out. People need to know our military right now is being cut offline. The supply chains are being cut off. Even if this isn't intentional, it's having the devastation and effect of a major attack on our country. If this happened anywhere else in the world, people would be freaking out and being like, oh, somebody did it. You know who did it? Somebody did it. And the blame game would be going around. But when it happens in the US, it's never anyone. It's never anything. It's always just, oh, whoops, we're just so clumsy, and we're supposed to be the most economically viable country on earth. But apparently we can't handle ports, ships, trains, airplanes. They're all just falling apart and all turn into chaos, right? So get prepared now, guys, and get your homestead ready now. Have these local supply chains building in your backyard, building with your community, building with your neighbors. So when it hits the fan like this, you are insulated from what's going on in the world. You can at least absorb the shock that everyone else is going through. You can at least absorb some of it and mitigate some of it. All right, so thank you, guys. I hope you have big blessings for your life and your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.